So who cares? I did a little list of these people. This is my point about individuals, and they're all well worth researching. Alan Rees, who was he fired from the university for being too entrepreneurial? Went on to do soil machine dynamics, subsea plows, and Graham Wiley, who was also an alum from the university, who set up Sage Software with the help of an American business advisor. They went around the UK with his print management software idea. Ended up in Byker, obviously centre of the world, connection there. And he met David Goldman and Phil Lever, who had a printing business. And David Goldman spotted that this print planning software would be better in accounting. And they morphed and pivoted it and sold it to the rest of the world, UK to start with. And got Paul Walker in. And these are all individuals who made that business. David Harrison, who set up True Potential. He was adopted by the butcher in concert. Went on to sell financial services, built up Positive Solutions and True Potential, both in the region, had most amazing exits. He has gone on to, he sold the last business for £1.6 billion. These people are making a difference. I couldn't remember which Granny Greggs was, so I put her down there. And I also was amused that I put Sir John Hall on here. I rang him about 3 weeks ago for his birthday, and I love how he picks up the phone. Mr. Hall here. I said, I thought I'd come for Sir John. And he goes, oh, shit, yeah, I forgot. How old are you now? 90. I forgot I was a knight. Yes, but because it is Dame Margaret. We got Amanda Staveley. You know, I was like, do they care about the region? Or JFDI, just fucking do it. They do it anyway. You know, but we need more people like that who are going to just get stuck in. I couldn't resist adding this little photo from my archive here. And that's the lanyard from when I was a candidate. So do we need to make the Northeast great again? Or are we already succeeding? Here are some fantastic businesses that are already doing well. Lisa, who's from Ubisoft, which is the top 3 computer games company in the world, 24,000 staff. They have their European delivery centre here. They have thousands of people in the city. Obviously, Nissan has been a bedrock. Fairstone is a financial services business that's been a roll-up over the years, now with thousands of people. Oliver Wyman, which is the McKinsey for financial services. They were in London with 600 people. They're in Paris with 600 people. They've got 1,200 people in New York. They were sitting there in the start of this century saying, well, the 2010s, they were saying, it's getting really expensive in London. People want a cheaper space and a cheaper staff. Shall we go to Poland and set up in Warsaw because that'll be a cheaper economy? And one of the guys there said, I don't speak Polish. I'm from Lofel. Can we just set up in Newcastle? And they now have nearly 100 people, and they've got a spin-out business called Neptune North, and they have 2 floors in the brand new building at Bank House. And they have got a home for fantastic brain power doing consulting work globally out in Newcastle. So all of these are fantastic, iconic businesses. I Am Property, a couple of guys from Northumbria University, 20% of all house purchase transactions are now using that platform for the estate agents, the lawyers, the conveyancing. They have scaled that business to great effect. I thought I would do a short commercial break here, bringing in pretty much everybody here. Tom Lawson, CEO and front cover poster boy. It is, Tom and I got involved. I founded the business. I wasn't heavily involved but I said when we were 80 people, we need a plan for 200 people. And Tom, we coaxed into the business, and just before the pandemic, we have grown that business by working. We were let into the HMRC delivery centre in 2016 with the coalition government, Francis Maude, and some public sector reforms. And they said that all of the global international majors that were working with central government needed a work share with local SME partners. And at that stage, we fitted the bill, we got in, and our team was local. And some of the internationals were a bit more of a foreign legion. When the pandemic hit and the ministry here was tasked with building the furlough scheme, it was our local team who supported and grew that, and we grew the business from 80 to 200 to 400, and news just in, we're about to hit 600 people. We have given options to all the staff, and I think that is the best way to incentivize people, that at some point we will have a cycle of exits, and that rather than becoming some crazy philanthropist, each of the staff will have a pot of their own where they can support their own local communities. We have a vastly international business, and that can grow and do interesting things. We grew the business up to 2016 in Brexit with local talent. There's always been a war for talent in tech, and we brought in a lot of Europeans. From Brexit, they have faded away somewhat, and we now have a huge amount of people in from the British Commonwealth, which has been the next ground for that. And so Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, India, Pakistan, Canada, Hong Kong is where we've had a bunch of our tech talent, and it's really fascinating to see that, and it's really fascinating to have those people largely come to Newcastle, even though we have offices in Glasgow, Edinburgh, and London, and we have a strong hold of people. We're a hybrid business with less than 100 desks in our office, but we have clusters of people all over the UK. When you work with central government, which is 95% of our client base, all of the talent has to be onshore. So it's been great to bring people to the UK and see the excitement and energy from growing that business. So a few others. I thought I would add, was kind of more the super majors and the iconic scaffolding from the universities. Somewhere I wanted to put in BSA, the Business Services Authority, another iconic business that named itself to be kind of hidden in the Northeast. BSA is the largest government department headquartered outside Whitehall. It is the prescription pricing, it's the NHS payroll. They're just changing the NHS payroll system announced last week. It's going to be a £150 million project plus 15 million a year for the next 10 years to change all of the NHS payroll to a modern system. They also process 1 billion medical prescriptions a year, and all the data and all the caching of that system, all out of Newcastle. Thousands of people working in that business, kind of unknown. And then some of the emerging businesses like Leonardo, which is a Italian defence prime. It was the merger with Marconi, the radars, and Westland, the helicopters business. And they have set up a team in Newcastle. They are the Eurofighter, which is a 2030 project. They are writing the code for all of the ghost technology so that that Eurofighter cannot be seen by radar when it's flying for its missions. And that seems to be like a boy's own complicated project that we're having in the Northeast. A bit about Zeitgeist. There are waves of technology. The whole family with their removals business, we caught one by moving from horses to motor combustion. Sage really hit their stride with the Amstrad computer, where they were But they were the first guys to build a program that could be sold on that. And in crypto or in AI, we've got huge opportunities. And this was a few years ago, but there are so many different ways. I'm not pessimistic about the opportunities that are out there. There are just waves to catch. You just have to get there. So, can we become the next Silicon Valley? Are we there already? We should join those dots. We need to support it with a vision. We need to support those solos. We need to get those clusters together. And there is a challenge in spreading the jam too thin, trying to get everybody to have a little bit. I think you have to make some big bets. And the hardest bit is working out which bets to make. And just as a little international aside, I am absolutely, what it used to be that you couldn't, you had to be in the Roman Forum, you had to be at the water cooler to interact with people, to understand where the opportunities are. And I absolutely commend to you the All In podcast, which is 4 guys. All In is a sort of poker concept. These 4 guys used to play poker before the pandemic, and in the pandemic they set up a podcast. They had Trump on the podcast in his second election. They are like they're private equity guys from the Elon's PayPal mafia. They've been in Twitter and X. They're early investors in Tesla. They're early investors in Facebook. Weekly they pick up topics and mull them over in the tech revolution. David Sachs here has been. He was so impressed. Trump was so impressed by him that he was taken on as the AI and crypto czar in the White House, and all of the stuff that you see here coming out of the White House on AI and crypto is written by David Sachs. So hugely influential, and he clustering and networking. He put an AI summit on at the White House. He was responsible for the tech dinner. He was responsible for all the tech guys coming over in Trump's recent visit to the UK. So you can get it all weekly live from these guys, and it is absolutely fascinating. They had a summit recently in Los Angeles, and all of the keynotes are on there. Just a plethora of the heroes of it all. So these are just a few ideas. Peter Thiel, he wrote his startup business from Stanford. He's very philosophical. He's part of that sort of alt-right gang. And I just like his book is absolutely fascinating about startups. And he hit the concept being that if you don't start something, you have 0. If you do have something, it's a 1. We need more startups in this region and in the UK to go from 0, nothing, to having a go. And his early chapters are a really good explainer of how to set up your own business and manage the competition and work it through. And it's that sort of, back to Opencast, with Tom and I, we do pinch ourselves that we've managed to have such a good run to grow a scaling business in the Northeast. But it is probably from understanding some of these more complex and subtle dynamics that we've managed to navigate it through. Just adding here, the other part of networking is my thought that you've got to get the right strategy, but then you crowd it in with amazing people. And the Northeast has it all. You can get the links, you can get there. I spent the whole year in the energy world, and with a software spin out from Opencast, where we're looking at the opportunity for batteries and renewable energy. And it's my granny's antenna around what's in the Northeast and how can we leverage it, that I find that Northern Power Grid that runs part of the UK's power grid. There are 8 distribution network operators that run the grid. Northern Power Grid is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's mega investment corporation. And the guy who bought Northern Power Grid for Berkshire Hathaway, spent 6 months in a hotel in Newcastle. He's called Greg Abel, and he apparently is such a now Newcastle United fan that his suit carrier for going around the world is a NUFC suit carrier. He is Warren Buffett's now chosen successor in Berkshire Hathaway. So if there isn't an in there for us at Newcastle University to get some sponsorship and or everything else, we've got to mind, you've got to have Granny's sensibility of where the stories go and then what you're trying to do to connect those dots.